Easter is over and summer just around the corner. In any normal year, the wheels of the tourist industry would already be turning and accelerating. But of course, this is not a normal year. Hotels are shut, flights grounded, and the tourists have been told to stay at home in lockdown. Now, the travel sector is desperate to reopen and recoup losses. But authorities are wary of opening up too much too soon in case it leads to a second wave of infection. EU tourism ministers have pledged to support the industry but want the bloc's external borders to stay closed until the middle of June, leaving many in the hospitality sector unsure about what to expect. Evelyn Laverick reports.
If you're dreaming of scenes like this, then your hopes just may be realised of summer holidays in the sun. Greece is kicking off its tourist season, opening its hotels next month and resuming international charter flights to popular locations in July. But safety remains a priority.
Sample coronavirus testing will be conducted on our visitors and our general health protocols will be adhered to, but without them overshadowing our bright sun or the natural beauties of Greece.
The Greek announcement came as EU tourism ministers agreed to do whatever it takes for the quick and full recovery of European tourism, which contributes to almost 10% of EU GDP. Italy is also making moves towards enticing tourists by announcing that all its airports could reopen on June the 3rd for national and international flights. Some resorts have been preparing for a while.
The turning point would be the opening of our borders, because for people like us, whose customers are 60% foreigners, it's important to know when they'll be able to take holidays in Italy again.
Last week, the European Commission proposed a gradual lifting of travel restrictions throughout the bloc, but so far France is only allowing essential travel from abroad. Its beaches are open, but sunbathing is banned. Meanwhile, Slovenia has said it plans to offer €200 vouchers to its citizens to urge them to holiday in their home country rather than abroad. Foreign holidaymakers are more likely to be allowed back to Spain's islands ahead of its biggest cities. The relaxation of one of Europe's strictest lockdowns is on a region-by-region basis. Barcelona, which has been hard hit by coronavirus, has just begun to reopen its parks and beaches, but only to residents.
It's more charming when there are fewer people. Normally I don't come to these beaches, I usually go to the Costa Brava or the Costa Dorada.
While governments are keen to support tourism, hygiene and social distancing will have to underscore any possible holiday. Evelyn Laverick, Euronews.
Well, our correspondent Smela Tucidu is in Athens and joins us now. Smela, we've just heard there from the Greek Prime Minister about plans to reopen tourism safely. What's the reaction been in the country? Are people looking forward to that? Are they nervous of the opening of the borders and having tourists come? And what's being done then to prepare for the season?
Well, Rosie, there is a mixture of feelings because the first steps have been made, but we do not know where they will lead us yet. What do we mean? The Greek government has, presented the plan called Restart Tourism. It says that the hotels, seasonal hotels, will open in the middle of June, and international flights to all airports will resume in July. The goal is to welcome as many tourists as possible, but at the same time keeping safe both tourists and locals. So where will the tourists come from? We do not know yet. Greece will seek bilateral agreements with countries mainly from Central and Southeast Europe, where the coronavirus pandemic has been successfully contained. Countries, for example, like Germany, Austria, the Balkan countries, and Israel. The agreements will say that people coming to Greece and leaving Greece will not have to be put in quarantine. Furthermore, to prevent infected people from staying in the country, there will be random tests at the airports and the ports. But the truth is that it's practically impossible to fully prevent an asymptomatic tourist from coming in, especially when large groups of tourists arrive. So the Greek government strengthens the healthcare system in popular summer destinations. In the islands especially, there will be extra beds available for emergency cases. every hotel will assign a special manager and a doctor to the Civil Protection Agency. So if there is a suspected case, there will be a fast and comprehensive response. Finally, every hotel will have a room especially prepared to work as a quarantine in case of emergency. So the Greek government is preparing to welcome as many tourists as possible, but at the same time it says that it's a bet hard to win. People from the industry are preparing, and Faye Dulkeri visited a hotel in Athens to see what preparations are made.
Hotels in Greece normally start operations mid-May, and the first guests would already be sipping cocktails by the pool, but these are not normal times. Bookings at this stage would usually give a clear picture of how the summer season would turn out. Recent years have seen arrivals increasing year on year. This year was looking very promising, but the pandemic crisis changed the rules of the game. The country's hotels remain closed and are trying to prepare for when visitors can come, planning security measures to follow to government regulations.
We will make every effort for rooms to be checked out, to be vacant for a couple of days, 48 hours after the guests check out, so that the room is vacant and is clean and has the time to dissipate any potential issue in the room. Also separating between rooms to have vacant rooms between different parties. One family will be grouped together, but for a different group you will be separated from other guests as much as possible.
Visitor safety is critical for both visitors and tourism entrepreneurs. In this hotel, there are going to be temperature checks on guests upon arrival and then on a daily basis. The staff will undergo regular tests for the coronavirus. Social distancing measures will be the key to security issues. The distance between one set of sunbeds from the other is going to be at least 4 meters. For this to happen, the hotel is going to make use of all the extra open spaces. Measures will be taken at many levels, visible and invisible to visitors. The guests are going to be served in the open spaces of the hotel, and there are going to be extra measures of safety and hygiene for the preparation of the meals. The booking policy for most touristic units has become very flexible, so cancellations are not massive, but it is unknown how many visitors will eventually come.
We have to juggle certain balls, obviously. Now, it's true that we have to make sure that the hotel doesn't look like a hospital. We need to provide that environment where once people have arrived, once they have been screened and they are in the comfort of the hotel, that they feel safe and then they can forget about everything else.
The expectation of the businessmen of the sector is that the tourist season will be extended at least until November in order to cover some of the losses.